All right, YouTube. I'm hungry. You know, last night I told you something when we were cooking in the rain. I told you, don't open up this hopper box when it's raining outside. All right. So we're gonna try to figure out why not to open up that hopper box. All right. So first, we're gonna try to simulate like a light rain. All right. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. I don't know if you can see that there or not, but a little light rain in your hopper box. We're good, right? A heavier rain, maybe you forgot about this for an hour or so when it started to rain while you were inside. So here goes a heavier rain, right? And look at all that. So we're going to give that some time, let it sit, all right, while we talk about some stuff, right? First, we're going to pretend this is my auger tube, and this guy from Home Depot is my auger, all right? And the way it works is in the hopper, gravity feeds the pellets down into the auger. All right, there's my auger tube. All right, then we start to spin, son, and then eventually we come out the other side. So that's the way this works. Gravity sends the pellets to the auger. The auger sends the pellets into the auger tube. This ain't rocket science. If I could come up with this shit in the backyard and do this little experiment with you, you guys, I'm pretty sure, are smarter than I am, and it'll work. All right, so we already did it once. We don't need to do it again. All right, that's how it works. Pellet goes in the auger, comes out the other side. Pretty damn easy, right? Well, look what has happened here, son. Like this one here looks all brittle and chewed up. This one here looks all eaten up. Look at this one. This one's that was just a light rain. This one here had a heavy rain in it, right? And the longer I give this time, the more this is going to break up, son. And remember, this one here I just sprinkle water on top of, right? So what happens now? All right. Well, what happens now is this auger goes into the pellet grime, and it's going, right? And it gets wet. All right, so it gets wet. It's a heavy rain, guys. I was doing a pork butt, and the wind, I didn't have my latch closed. The wind knocked that open, and I walked away from it, all right? Well, this auger keeps on going. It doesn't know the difference, right? It's just going to go and go and go. What we saw, though, is gravity went to the bottom of this guy, all right? The water went to the bottom. This is my hopper, right? This is a maybe not so good example, but it'll work. My auger is now in the top. All it knows is that its job is to turn, all right? This PID controller says, listen, I need you to turn. Well, I'm starting to turn into mush. So when I start to turn, my pellets start to turn into mush, they're lining the inside of the auger tube, son. They just get stuck to the sides of it. It's like paste. But hell, they're wet, right? They're very wet. Right now, the machine doesn't care, right? It doesn't know. All it knows is it has a performance issue. So that PID controller, it turns into a little blue pill, if you know what I'm saying, right? And it says, I can't keep up with the temperature right now because, well, there's something wrong with my pellets or there's something wrong with the airflow, but let me dump what I can dump into it. I'm going to turn up my fans on high, and I'm going to dump more pellets in it, right? So now I can keep up with my temperature with these crappy pellets that just crumble, and they're sticking to the inside of my auger tube, right? Well, now this thing is spinning a mile a minute, all right? And as this thing spins, I'm getting more and more liquid into my auger tube, all right? And it's all going down the bottom. Well, my cook is over with. I don't know what just happened, right? This could have just been a little bit of moisture. And as we saw, that little bit of rain went right down to the bottom, and it's funneled into my auger tube, right? But I'm done with my cook, all right? And now it's time to go inside with my food, so I turn off my machine. Well, this guy here isn't turning no more, right? I've turned off my machine. You get me? I'm going to come back the next day. Really, for you guys? Let's just see. Hold on. This is going to be heavy. But look at that. Look at that. Enough stuff has gone into here, enough water, and this thing started to expand. I can now pick up my little auger with these pellets that have expanded around it. There's enough pressure. Tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to yank on that, son. It might not even be tomorrow. I might come back on Sunday because I poured a lot of water in there. Maybe pour some more in there. Right? I want it to fully expand. And I'm going to tell you probably it might even poof out. You know, it might come out of this. Right? If you look at this one, you know, this one happens quicker. You can see this bowl a lot easier. All right? This bowl here, and all that's in there is pellets. Right? If I just give that soup time, these pellets are going to absorb it. These pellets are under compression. And then they're the bonding agent. I don't care what they say. You know, there's some kind of bonding agent. Some kind of food grade oil or something. I don't know what's in there. I really don't care. I know what happens to it though, son. As this thing dries out, it gets to be strong, son, like a cement block. And how am I going to get that out of there? Well, now I got a tube full of that. Do you think the motor could turn it? I can't turn it by hand. I used to be able to turn it by hand. You saw me doing it. It ain't going to work no more. Guys, boom. There you go. Auger tube full. Well, let me come over here. Look at that auger tube, son. This is my auger tube. I can't do nothing there. And all that's in there is pellets. It's just pellets. I didn't put nothing else in there. Look at this. That's just from a light rain. You know, I didn't put a lot of water in this one. Look how they've expanded already. Guys, this one here, I turned into a soup. All right, let me get down on camera. I turned this into a soup. All right, they crumble in my hands. Pretty soon, this thing here is going to be a pain in the ass for the wife to clean. I guarantee it. And guys, remember, this is PVC, so I really can't show you a whole lot with it, but the little PVC pipe is smooth on the inside. This is an auger tube, it's metal, and it has an auger in it, and when they expand, they push up against the sides. So just remember this. Remember that when you cook it in the rain, or you have any moisture build up in your hopper box, moisture goes down. And even if it doesn't go down, let's pretend it makes a little crust on the top. Well, you're still using this thing, right? Eventually, it's going to make it to the auger tube. And then the auger, well, it's pushing air through it, son. And it gets hot. So what's going to happen is, this guy here, look at that. Look at that. That's some water I put in there. But these ain't going nowhere no more. All right, guys, we'll be back. All right, YouTube, it's been a couple days. We're back. I got my bowl full of, well, it was soupy pellets. They've kind of dried up now. See that there? And I got my mason jar with my auger bit in it, right? First thing we're going to do is we're just going to flip this guy upside down. We're going to take a look at it. All right? Look at that. The pressure, as it expanded against the bowl, made this nice little, I guess it kind of looks like a brain. All right? And then look here. It crumbles up, and we got sawdust. All right? Take this guy. This guy here has a different pressure set to it. We're just going to dump out the top. All right? I'm going to move this over to the side. We don't really need that right now. All the ones I left on the table, they're all still here. They've all crumbled up. All right? Let's see if I can turn this on. No. Brought my drill out. All right? I was going to get some torque wrenches to do this kind of scientifically. All right? But this thing has a little clutch in it. We're going to use the numbers on the clutch, see what happens. All right? Let's get this on there. See what it's going to take to remove this. Or if this drill can even do it. How cool would it be if it didn't know how to go get my hammer drill for it? Alright, so that's number one. It ain't going nowhere. The chuck isn't even on there very tight. Let's see if we can get the chuck on there tighter. Hold on. That might be it, son. Alright, well, number one, it ain't really doing much on one. Let's try two. Nothing. Let's go to three. Still nothing on three. Here goes number 4. Nope. Here goes 10. Guys, let's skip a few. Let's go to 13. That's 14, actually. Nothing. 15. Let's just turn it so it gives it all its motor. And guys, it's starting to come out. I can feel it moving. There we go. All right. But even once it starts to turn, I don't want to make too much of a mess here. Let's see if I can pull it out by hand now. I guess I can wiggle it out. There we go. The inside there, it's actually turned, there's a blackish mold to it, I guess. I don't know if it's mold or not, but it definitely turned a little bit black. This mason jar, maybe I just never get rid of, you know, but here you go. Now realize this. This auger bit, in between these little, I don't even know what they're called, but this part here, right, the in between there, is not as wide as it is on the Rectech. You know, it's not as wide as it is on any pellet grill. So there's going to be a lot more pellet, wet pellet, sawdust in between there. So it's going to be harder to come out. Most people have to get a pair of pliers, vice grips, and rip it out, right? That and there's a plug and probably a retention pin or something holding this guy in. So nevertheless, that's why it clogs up. You get moisture in there. Now, it's not just moisture from the rain. Sometimes moisture from the pellet itself. Let's say you keep your pellets inside like a damp basement or inside your garage or something. It's very humid. I love the sound of that bird, son. You know, but it's very humid in that room. These pellets start to gain some moisture. You stick it in your grill. The grill heats up the pellet. Maybe you get a little bit moisture built up there. The moisture goes down. You got pellets that are swelling. You turn off your grill. This is what you get. Guys, that's why it clogs. You guys have a good day. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye, son.